Alright, welcome back, and in this episode of newborn photography post-processing, we will be talking about extending your background. So a lot of times you have this problem wherein your fur or your other background, what have you, is not enough covered in the area of your photograph. So we will learn how to extend that easily, and color correction of your newborn skin tone. More specifically when you have more specifically when you have babies with jaundice. All right, so when the skin color of the baby is a bit on the yellow side, it's very easy to remove. All right, so once again, this is Doc Ian of Newborn Academy for Photographer Philippines. I'm giving away this lecture series to all of the viewers out there. Please do like and subscribe and help us keep this channel growing. And for those of you here in the Philippines or even abroad, I am inviting you to attend our workshop, wherein we discuss these things more intensively from start to finish and how you can safely and effectively do your newborn photography practice. All right, so let's start. So here we have an image right here, and as you can see, this is capture one, but the workflow in Lightroom is pretty much similar. So we'd like to increase the exposure here a bit. All right, and the shadows are a bit too dark, so I want to pull that out a little bit too, so just a little bit, right? And here you can see that well, it's okay already, but I feel that the fur in the background here is a bit yellowish. It is a bit warm tone, and one tool that very easy to use is this white balance picker tool. So you just click this, and you can do this in Lightroom as well. All right, in Photoshop I'm not so sure. You can fine tune the white balance, but this is an easier way. It's just that the process is very simple. You just pick the white balance tool and you click on anywhere in the image that you want to be white, either white or neutral gray. So like here, for example, so by simply clicking on this part, for example, I want this fur to be white. There, see that? See the big difference? So your software, in this case Capture One, will try to see, okay, that this one should be white and adjust the white balance accordingly. So that's very useful if you don't know how to manually compute or manually timpla your white balance. Okay, so if you want to go back, just go to a shot. So that is the white balance when the image was shot. All right, so again, you can also do it with something that is gray, so neutral gray. So like this one, you know that this is gray, and it's trial and error depending on taste. So for my taste, I think yeah, so this one, yeah, this one might probably look best for me. All right, maybe white. Yeah, I think I want it that way. All right, so all right, so let's open this up in Photoshop. Okay, all right, so how do you extend the background? You have several ways. So you can use the spot healing brush tool, and you can try and brush those black part out. Make sure to include some of the fur, and Photoshop will try to copy it for you. So that's one method. And again, there's no perfect method for this. You try which one works. So sometimes it's flawless enough that it's gonna be okay for you. So like this one, that is using the spot healing brush, and I think, let me check. All right, so I think I am okay with that. Okay, another tool that you can use is by deleting those edges. So you can use this polygonal lasso tool and then click on those edges and content aware delete it. So delete, hit backspace, and then content aware, and wait for Photoshop to figure it out. Sometimes Photoshop misses, sometimes there will be edges like that. All right, so let's try it out first here. This one I use more if I have plain background, or if I have tarpaulin backgrounds, wooden backgrounds, something like that, and kind of works better. Okay, and you can actually use combination of the techniques. So like this one. All right, and then you can still add on some healing brush, spot healing brush there. So before and after, before and after, right? Before and after, right? And the last one is actually my favorite when I'm editing fur. So I do the clone stamp tool. So 100% opacity, you sample by pressing your Alt button. Sample in the area that you want to be cloned and then brush away. So for me, this yields the best result, as I can, in a way, try to match those fibers of fur. Except when it's like this, it comes a little bit distracting, or there's a lot of going on here. Sometimes it's able to match it, sometimes it's not. So Alt and sample, and then brush. Again, the goal here is it should look natural. So it doesn't have to be perfect, because you don't usually pixel peep and look at your image like that. Because if you pixel peep, you will see some fibers overlapping here and there. But when you look at this from this standpoint, from the normal viewing angle, it's actually okay. All right. And yeah, so that's it for extending your background. Oh, here's another technique. Okay. So for example, you want the subject placed in the center. You can crop by pressing C and extend your background. All right. And you will see when you extend here that you have blank spaces here. And again, content aware is really nice. You can just click on fill and click content aware before hitting enter, and let Photoshop try to extend that background for you. And most of the time, Photoshop does it right. And there you go. There you have it. So for places wherein it's not perfectly extended, just go over there and use your clone stamp tool and try to clean it up yourself. All right. Part 2 of the series would be editing a newborn skin and color correcting. So the simple thing that I use for color correction here is your hue and saturation layer. So you open up and add an adjustment layer of hue and saturation. And again, what is jaundice? Jaundice is the yellowish color of the skin. So you might want to go to yellow and simply decrease the yellowish saturation. So as you can see here, okay, this part over here, when you turn this layer off, it's yellowish. There's a bit of jaundice, and it's not that obvious in this baby, but for some babies, it will be very obvious. So once you apply the desaturation layer, by desaturating the yellows, you will see very clearly that your yellows went away. All right, so don't go all the way down. Okay, probably here. Okay, the problem here is, again, it's a global adjustment. It decreased all the yellow. As you can see, the fur went from yellowish warm cream to extremely white. And again, it's easy to fix by doing an adjustment layer. So we want to apply it only on the skin. White shows again and black hides it. So invert it, Command I, so that it becomes black, meaning it's not applied to the whole image. And we only want to paint out the part of the face that we want to remove the yellow. So I go on and pick my brush tool, 100% opacity. That's okay, 100 or 80% opacity. And then make sure that it's on white foreground, and then I just paint over the parts that I want to remove the yellow. And as you can see, it's showing here. So that's the part of the face. Okay. And you can do the same for the face if you feel that it's too red. So another hue and a saturation layer. So this one, you can rename it as remove yellow skin. And here, another hue saturation layer. We can tone down the reddishness. So reduce red skin, reduce red. Okay. So if you do not know which part of the hue saturation module the skin color is, use the picker tool. And that's too red, and it becomes red. So turn down the saturation a bit, not too much, it becomes so dull. Okay, so maybe 10 or 7. And then you can actually play with the hue. So okay, play with the hue a bit, not too much again. And then again, we're just doing this to taste. All right. So that's the reddish, super red. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Saw it. All right. And then again, invert and only paint in the part of the skin where you think that it's too red. So not too much, as you will kill the color completely. You don't want to do that. So things like this, you just learn it from balancing it out. So see. And if you feel that globally you did it too much, it's very easy to decrease the saturation of this layer, the opacity. Decrease it to half, 30%, 50%, whichever you want. according to your taste. If I decrease it to 0, then this is actually your original image. Right, so 50%, probably 50% is okay for me for this image. And again, you can see what we did here. You can group them, Command G, and you can see the final and the before and after effect that you did. So this is the skin tone before, this is the skin tone after. Zoom out to see. So that's before, yellowish and reddish, and after. And sometimes the changes are so subtle that it takes a trained eye to actually see. So before, reddish, yellow, after. Zoom in a little bit more. So there you go. All right, you can see it better here, the changes in the color. All right, so that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. Please follow and support this channel.